Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We will chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena
Devan bhavayatanena
Te deva bhavayantu vaha
Te deva bhavayantu vaha
Parasparam bhavayantaha
Parasparam bhavayantaha
Shreyah paramavapsyatha
Shreyah paramavapsyatha
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha
Yo bhungte stena eva saha
Yo bhungte stena eva saha
Yajna shishtashinah santaha
Yajna shishtashinah santaha
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha
Ye pachantyatmakaranat
Ye pachantyatmakaranat
Annad bhavanti bhutani
Annad bhavanti bhutani
Parjanyadanna sambhavaha
Parjanyadanna sambhavaha
Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha
Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha
Yajna karma samudbhavah.
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi.
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma.
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
Nityam yajne pratishthitam.
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are in verse number 15, trying to get into the depth of this verse. Now, why I'm saying trying to get into the depth is because we are using the tool of words to get into the depth of something which is beyond words. He has also used the tool of words to express something which is beyond words. Words are very gross. The infinite is the subtlest. So any amount of mere intellectual understanding of the words will not actually help you to gain the full wisdom of the infinite. This is a mistake which many scholars make. Just because they read a few scriptures and they do some analysis, they think now they have gained the knowledge of the infinite. No way. These words being so gross, they cannot actually be the infinite. They can only represent the infinite. A representation is different from what the original is. Supposing you want to visit a place, you want to go there as a tourist, some city. Now, if I bring you a map of that city and I show you that map and I tell you this is the road and you go there, there is one museum there, then you go this side, there is a beach there with nice diagrams and all that, and I show you. And I also explain to you thoroughly. And I give you a copy of that map and you keep on studying that map. You see it again and again, and you're now thorough with the entire city map. You know exactly where the museum is, you know what is the distance to, in 1 kilometer the museum comes, 2 kilometers the park comes, everything is very clear to you. Therefore, will you conclude that now I know that city, I have full knowledge about that place? You cannot conclude that. Compare that to the actual visit to that place. Supposing you go there actually, and when you walk on those roads which you have seen in the map, you enter the museum and experience that. You go to the park and sit there. You go to the beach and enjoy there. Actually exploring the city. Now that is a direct experience. Now that is totally different from what your understanding would have been when you just use the map. A person may not even know the map. If he is in the city, he will be experiencing it. He may not know exactly how many kilometers is the museum from my place and all that. The details he may not be knowing. Yet, he is in a superior position as far as that knowledge of that city is concerned, simply because that person is experiencing, whereas you have not experienced. A person who has experienced and who also has all the knowledge will be able to guide others. So these verses, not only these verses, all the scriptures, they are like the map of a city. A map only represents a city. It cannot give you the full knowledge, full experience. A map can serve as a pointer. So you may initially use a map, but ultimately you will have to go beyond the map. Supposing you are walking on a particular road and suddenly you see a beautiful scenery there. You may just want to stand there and enjoy that. You see a nice open space with a lot of grass and all that. You may just want to go and sit there. Now that may not be a part of this map. So if you mechanically stick to the map, actually you may miss the enjoyment of the experience. So a map of the city is good for a start. It can guide you, it can give you an idea, it can remove the ignorance, up to a certain level, make you feel comfortable, all that. But it cannot give you that full wisdom, that is the experience of that place. So I want you to understand this very important difference. The entire scriptures, the word which have been used, are all pointers. Actually, if you think about it, you're seeing the map on the paper only. That has nothing, see, from one angle you can say this has nothing to do with the actual city. See, supposing you're seeing, let's say, a lake on the map. Now, has the paper become wet because of that, just because a diagram of the lake has been put? So, from the experience point of view, you can say this map has nothing to do with the city. If a person, let us say a person is stuck with a map, even after you take him to the city, he is not exploring the city at all. As he is walking, let us say, for example, before a museum, another park has been built which is not mentioned in the map, just for argument's sake. Now he will say, no, I will not agree. Supposing a person says that. Actually he can see the park, but he says, no, I will not enter this park because it is not given in the map. Now what will you tell him? You will tell him, you just close the map and keep it. Now you start exploring the city. Won't you say that? That is what Krishna says in the second chapter. We have already seen that where he said, people who are caught up with the letter of the Vedas, they are completely lost. He says the Vedas are like a forest, you can get lost in that completely. So don't get lost in the letter. You have to capture the spirit of the Vedas, which is what I decoded for you, and I told you the 5 aspects of the Sanatana Dharma is there. The 5th aspect is the energy, and the 4th aspect is the sadhana. So these 2 aspects are the most important things. Some people ask me, sir, Sanatana Dharma is dying away. So how do we revive that? You cannot revive Sanatana Dharma by merely emphasizing on the first 3 aspects. The 4th and 5th aspects are the key. Without that, these 3 aspects have no meaning. That is the Puranas, the rituals and knowledge. Without the 4th and 5th aspects, people will only quarrel. The depth will be missing. You cannot revive a place merely with its map. You're drawing a perfect map with perfect roads and everything of a place. Does it mean now the place has changed? It is not possible. So this doesn't mean you should not read the scriptures. We are keeping the scriptures only as a base for all these sessions, because that's so important. If scriptures are not kept as a base, then the individual person will become the center. No true master will allow that. See, a true master will guide. What is the center? It is God, and that which represents God is the scriptures. So we keep that as a base. We keep that as a center. The Guru is there to guide you. He will show you the full map. He will zoom in and show you all the spots, everything, and then he will also take you to that place and help you gain the actual experience, which is what is done during the empowerments, even in Nididhyasana, through healing, even while the discourse is being given. In the background, the energy is being sent. But if a person is merely happy with a map and he gets stuck there, he never puts any effort to visit the place. He is constantly only looking at the map and he is enjoying that. Oh, what a beautiful color this road is. How wonderful this building is. If he is stuck there, then you will say, come on, you will have to now rise beyond this. So that is why I use the phrase very consciously when I said we are trying to get into the depth of this verse, because the tools used are all words, very gross. So we have to go beyond the words, feel the energy, experience the energy behind the words, from where these words have come. A master is one who experiences the infinite, and then using the limited equipments, he tries to convey the infinite. We can only say any master has tried to convey, because the infinite can never be conveyed in its entirety using these finite equipments. So a master can inspire a student, master can guide, master can hold the hand and take the student, but unless and until the student is clear that I have not yet gained the experience, so I should never get an ego that I know this, I know that and all that, he will never be able to cross over all this. So this verse is a classic example of the point which is being given to you. This they called it as Shaka Chandra Nyaya, branch moon analogy. What do we mean? Supposing you want to see the moon in daylight. Now you're searching for the moon in the sky, but you're not able to locate it because it's broad daylight, the sun is there, so the moon is not visible, but yet you want to locate it. So you go to a master and ask him, I want to see the moon, can you show me the moon? So he just simply says, look there, see that is where the moon is. He's able to see it. And you look there, you're not able to locate it. You say, I'm unable to locate it. Then what he does is, he locates a tree in the direction of the moon. And he says, look at the tree. That you're able to do. When he says, look at the moon, you're not able to genuinely look at the moon. You're not able to locate it. But when he says, look at the tree in front, that is easy for you. And you start focusing on the tree. Then he says, look at the trunk of the tree. Keep on going up. Can you see the two branches? You say yes. Now focus on the right branch. You start focusing on the right branch. He says, you keep on going. Then you ask him, there are a lot of leaves, there are a lot of flowers. He says, yeah, you may see all that, but ignore all of them. Just keep going up in the direction of the branch. And he says, there are sub branches. Can you see that? Those small, tiny sub branches with leaves. He says, yes. He says, now go right up to the top of the main branch. Can you see a sub branch there? And that sub branch has two leaves. You say, yes. Then which leaf should I focus on? He says, no, forget the leaves. Just keep looking in between the leaves. The two leaves are like this. Now just look in between the leaves. Because that is exactly in the direction of the moon. So you start focusing on that space between the two leaves. And when you keep on focusing, suddenly you go beyond those two leaves, the immediate space and all that, and you see the moon. And the moment you see the moon, thereafter the tree, the leaves, the branches, all these things have no significance for you because you have actually located the moon. This is the example which is given in our Shastras. So the scriptures are like the tree. The branches, the sub-branches, the leaves and all these words. So you follow all that which the master gives you, but you should understand that actually the tree has nothing to do with the moon. Does the tree have anything to do with the moon? In reality, the tree helped you to locate the moon, but the tree doesn't have anything to do with the moon directly. If you use it properly, it can help you to locate the moon. And once you have located the moon, the tree has no further value for you. Unless and until some other person comes and asks you now, can you please show me the moon? And he is also finding it difficult. You may use the tree to help him. Similarly, these scriptures are giving so many pointers. None of these have anything to do with that ultimate, infinite Brahman, the real experience. Yet, our masters say the scriptures should be the base. Actually, later on, the Bhagavad Gita, he'll be saying, Shastrameva Pramanam. Keep the Shastras as your pramana, as your proof. Why? Because you're not capable of directly contacting the moon. You are unable to see it. Then this is your best bet. So the master, carefully using the yogic approach, unravels the secrets of the scriptures. But in that final point, he will say, drop the tree, drop the leaves, drop all this and start focusing on the space between the two leaves. So drop all this and get to the experience of the infinite. It's a very beautiful analogy which actually illustrates this point so beautifully. So just because a person is well versed with the tree doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean he has the true knowledge of the moon. So when we gain scholastic knowledge of the scriptures, let us say a person gains a scholastic knowledge and becomes a pandit, it is like getting a lot of knowledge about the tree. So that's why I keep saying you should learn to differentiate between a pandit and a saint. A saint is one who has experienced the moon. He is using the tree when it's required to guide others. He doesn't require the tree anymore. You should learn to differentiate between a yoga teacher and a yogi. See, today yoga teachers are calling themselves yogis. That is a misrepresentation. A yogi is one who is united with the infinite. A yoga teacher is one who may teach a few things about the practices, especially mostly we are talking of the physical practices. So some people, just because they know the Sanskritam language, now they claim superiority. They say, I am more spiritual. No way. That is just a language. God is beyond all words and languages. In every language, the same truths have been given out. So this is the journey from the known to the unknown. From whatever you know, you proceed and you slowly take a jump and move to the unknown. So what is it that you know right now? Action. So he says start with action, but where is it springing from? From Brahman. And that Brahman is originating from the imperishable. This is what, you see, in this verse he is asking you to look between the two leaves in that space. In the previous verse, he was telling you about the leaves. Now he is telling you to look beyond the tree and the leaves. That requires enormous courage. See, to be a sadhak of the truth is not a joke. Somewhere down the line you will compromise. A guru, I am talking of a true guru, a true master, he is not bothered about others' opinion. See, his only goal is to show you the moon. So sometimes when you get stuck with, let us say, some beautiful flower is there and you get stuck there, he will say enough. Let that flower be very beautiful and all that, leave it. Now if you have a judgmental attitude, if the student has a judgmental attitude, then he may conclude, oh, this my master, he, does he really know? See, I'm asking some questions about some subtle scriptural truths, but he is bypassing that and he is asking me to do something else. Does he really know or not? If a student starts doubting, the master has no issue. Okay, go to a scholar, go to a Pandit who will keep telling you about the flower more. He is not going to force. Supposing he finds that you're not having the commitment, the student is not having the commitment, the master may employ all kinds of methods to get the commitment. Now, at that time also the student may judge. The master is beyond these opinions. His only focus is to show you the moon. So, if you also have the desire to see the moon, if you carry the desire throughout only, you can travel with the master. It's like a cone, when this wisdom is very relative and it's diluted, lot of people will appreciate it. As the subtlety increases, the number will reduce. Finally, one or two may stick. That's why you see the Upanishads, it was given to a select few. Not that they were selected through some selection process and all that. The very subtlety of this wisdom acts as a filter. That's why I genuinely appreciate all of you, for to be able to complete the 22-day empowerment course, because it's not a joke, especially the one which we had just now, the Sambandha Divya Vignan. The energy levels were very high. Not that I was not aware of that. That's why I worked in double shifts to give so much of healing, because energy was very high. Lot of releases were happening. Especially there was that one session on karmic cleansing which we had. First time in the previous empowerment programs that a focused session was never given, but now the time had come. So a special session was kept there. Even though I had made it very gentle for you, it started bringing out so many things from within. That's why all of you felt, oh, sudden, tremendous transformation is happening, Yogishri. Even now I keep getting mails. And those materials which have been given, they are very deep, very unique. Now, the fact that you have been able to commit yourself and then go through with the whole program in spite of all these difficulties, that shows that your mumukshatva level is pretty good. But as we go into further empowerments, now your mumukshatva will be tested. Some people go on, should I attend or not attend? Should I attend or not attend? That's all a lack of mumukshatva. Very interesting. I am not putting any filters, yes, there are a lot of filters which we have put, but not based on other criteria, just simple. By increasing the subtlety, by increasing the energy more, those people who don't have that mumukshatva will automatically drop off. Only those who are committed can attend that. And that is what a master also wants. Even if one person is committed and is able to do it, that is better than having hundreds of people without any commitment attending. Then we need to dilute the wisdom again, we need to dilute the energy again. So, if you want to grow spiritually, you need to follow this process from the known to the unknown. That is what we are doing here. Karma Brahmodbhavam Viddhi. Karma Brahmodbhavam. Karma Brahma Udbhavam. Action springs from Brahma, from Brahman. And Brahman originates from Akshara. Brahmakshara Samudbhavam. So we saw different dimensions of Brahma in that first line. So Brahma is whatever your idea of infinite is, whatever your concept of God is. We start from there. It may not be the highest, it will definitely not be the highest, but it's better than not starting at all. So you will start your spiritual path with very limited concepts, with a lot of limitations coming from your belief systems. Like one person was telling me, all along, right from young age, he was constantly told that Shiva alone is God, all other gods are not gods. How can anybody put such thoughts in children? I really can't understand, but yet that had happened. So when he got exposed to this, the yogic approach, his mind expanded. He started with that limited concept. He first bought the Yoga Sankirtan material Nirvana Shatkam because the words used are Shivoham. There, Shiva is not referring to the form of Lord Shiva. There it's a different, it's infinite. But yet, he related to that and he bought it. And then when Sri Hari Dhyana was given, he didn't buy that. See, because he was operating from limitations. When the Mahashiva Dhyana came, he immediately bought it. Muruga came, that also he bought. Why? Muruga, Vinayaka and all are sons of Shiva, no? But then somewhere down the line, as his consciousness started expanding, he felt he was in the wrong path. So, he sent a mail asking for advice. And what I told him was very simple. If you say Vinayaka and Muruga or sons of Shiva, then but Vishnu is their uncle only according to the Puranas, no? So do you discard your uncle? So I was joking, but yet while cracking that joke, I was also giving him a serious point. I said, you're projecting your ego there. And to be fair on him, I told him, see, you've been brainwashed right from young age. People have just kept telling you. So you're carrying all those beliefs. Are you ready to leave all those beliefs and explore this path, the true spiritual path, the yogic path, the path of the infinite, the divine path of the infinite? He said yes. So I asked him, what is the proof? What are you going to do? He took his cell phone and immediately downloaded the Sri Hari Dhyana. Said, this is the proof. I'm willing to completely, become threadbare. There are several others who have also done the reverse, people who had these beliefs that Vishnu alone is God. They used to listen only to Sri Hari Dhyana. It is the same person who is giving Sri Hari Dhyana and Mahashiva Dhyana, right? So these are the limitations. So when you are coming here, you will have a lot of limitations. A master understands that. And I'm not here to fight with your limitations. Rather, let us start with your limitations. If you are able to listen to one thing, okay, you start with that. You may not get the full benefit, but at least some benefit you will get. But slowly, as you do the sadhana, as you receive the healing, your consciousness will expand, like what happened to that person. And what he told me was very interesting. He said, the day I expanded my vision, I became very peaceful, because earlier I used to keep arguing with others and I used to look down upon others who were worshipping other forms, I used to look down upon them, think they are wrong. What he said is, I had more hatred for those people rather than devotion towards God. So all that has gone now, I become very peaceful. And I've started experiencing what divinity is. I told him, now only you have become a true devotee of Shiva. You can keep your Ishtadevata Shiva or Vishnu, whatever it is. That is your personal choice. But not hating others. So you start with your limitations and then you move up. That is the first dimension of Brahma. Whatever you have conceived. And then you move to Akshara, which is beyond your limitations. Your consciousness expands. And then we saw Brahma also refers to Shabda Brahman. The Vedas, some people had given that meaning. I gave you some references from Adi Shankara's works, from Ramanujacharya's works, from Madhvacharya's works, just to make you understand that, see, these different sampradayas are there. There is nothing to fight. There is no quarrel required, which sampradaya is right, which is wrong, and all that. These are all just methods. But in the yogic approach, we go to the roots. Then Brahma means the Kshara, the perishable aspect. That also we saw. And then last week, we went to the root of the word Brahma, which is Brh. Brh means to grow, to expand, to enlarge, to strengthen. That is a reference to the Shakti, the potential to act. See, action is at the kinetic level. Unless there is potential energy, how can there be kinetic energy? Unless there is a potential for something, how can that something manifest? So if action is manifesting, it means there has to be a potential to act. That potential is what we call as Shakti, the energy, the vibrations. So in the Nididhyasana meditation, I always say, feel the divine vibrations, that Shakti. So when the chanting is done, you should feel the Shakti. As you advance in spirituality, when you are performing various actions, you will start attuning yourself to that Shakti or energy behind all this. Two people, let us say, come to me. One person is praising me, another person is criticizing me. Now, if I focus on the praise or the criticism, I will get affected. But if I focus on the Shakti behind those words, what is making him talk? It is that Supreme Shakti, Adi Shakti. What is making this person talk is also the same power, the same energy, that power behind their speech. If I am attuned to that, then I will rise beyond the praise and criticism. So when you start attuning yourself to that Shakti behind all these manifestations, you will experience everything. But with unaffected grace and detachment, you will rise above all these things. This is the secret of a yogic life. If you want to lead a yogic life, you don't need to leave everything and go somewhere. And what are you going to do there? Supposing you leave everything and you go to some place, that is also part of the world only, but okay, you choose that. And what are you going to do there? Do you really think you will get the peace of mind there? The moment you talk of peace, it is a mental peace and the mind is within you. So by changing places, you can only get temporary peace, but not that permanent peace. So if you want to lead a yogic life, very simple. see the world as a manifestation of this Shakti. It comes only through sadhana. When I am saying see the world now, you will ask me, sir, I am seeing, where sir, no Shakti? Don't ask such ridiculous questions. We are not talking about this external seeing. It is the inner perception. The jnana chakshu, the third eye, the eye of wisdom, when that opens through sadhana, you will start getting attuned to that Shakti behind all these manifestations. It's a very powerful state. So, know that action springs from Brahma. You are making that connection between action and the energy behind that action. And then you are not stopping there. It is Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. Brahman originates from the imperishable. So Samudbhavam signifies intensity. There he used the word Udbhavam. Here Samudbhavam. You are going further deep. This journey is not yet complete. You are intensifying your efforts. See, this is what will happen if you are a true sadhak. You will start off with your limitations. You will do sadhana and the Guru will guide you. You will take the Guru's guidance, overcome all your limitations. You will move to the next level. But when you go to the next level, you will not stay put there. You will intensify your efforts and you will want to go more deep. This happens at every level. The moment you are content with a particular achievement in the spiritual path and you say, I am so happy, let me stay put here, then you are not a true sadhak. See, Vedavyasa's son, Sukhamuni, he had already attained a very advanced stage. He had all the siddhi powers. He could materialize anything. He was a great yogi already. But when Vyasa told him, listen, you have to go to a guru, he said, why do I need to go to a guru? You are my guru. He said, I am your guru, agreed, but there is one element of you which is also seeing me as your father. There is a limitation there. Therefore, you go to, either whom should I go to? Go to King Janaka. King Janaka was called a Videhi. A Videha. Videhi means one who has dropped the consciousness of the body while living in the body. So he was sent to King Janaka. So a person who had achieved such great heights, he went for guidance. Can you and me claim to be at that level of Sukhamuni first? That is before he went to King Janaka. Then what is the point of any ego? There is no meaning. And when Sukhamuni went, Janaka tested him so much. Because whatever said and done, Sukha had this slight ego. See, I have left everything, I am living in the forest, I am superior. He is in the worldly enjoyments, How can he be my guru? Anyway, my guru and father has told me, so I am going. That's how he initially went. But after interacting with King Janaka, he found that King Janaka had reached the highest level. So this is what will happen to you in the spiritual path. You will start with your limitations. You will keep on moving. And when you achieve any milestone, you will not stay put there. You will use that confidence, that energy to go more deep. That is the significance of Samudbhavam. See, don't read Samudbhavam separately. Read it along with Udbhavam. In the first line he said Udbhavam. That's your start. But as you keep progressing in the spiritual path and achieving various milestones, what is a sadhana for you? Samudbhavam. yes, I have understood this. Supposing you feel that. Now, samudbhavam, I have to understand it more intensely. I have to go into more depth. Sir, I have done a lot of sadhana. Now my mind has become very peaceful. That is udbhavam. But now you have to apply samudbhavam. Oh, I have achieved a lot of peace. Use that energy to become more peaceful, more intensity, infinite peace. So when you keep on going like this, a time would come where you will reach that final point of this finiteness. At that time you will say, I know so much, I have experienced so much in spirituality. I have all these powers, everything, but all these are finite. What I want is to really go into the depth and merge with the infinite. So at that moment, when you build this habit of samudbhavam, udbhavam plus samudbhavam throughout your sadhana, at that last moment you will not get stuck there. You will cross over and merge with the infinite. So these two words, udbhavam and samudbhavam, when joined, they form a very powerful sadhana tool for you. Incidentally, you can apply this even in any field. If you don't know something, udbhavam, master your skills there. But as you're mastering your skills there, never rest content. Don't think I know everything, no, I am become a master. No. The moment you achieve something, samudbhavam, more intensity. Use that energy which has been gained, reinvest that energy to go more deep into that. Such people only can be true achievers. So, whether it is a spiritual field or whether it's a worldly field, this combination of udbhavam and samudbhavam, sam means intensity, it signifies intensity. That combination takes you right up to the top. So a master looks for that hunger in a student. Spiritual hunger. That is what is signified by samudbhavam. Many people start off very well, but then somewhere down the line they compromise. Their hunger goes away. But a true sadhak maintains that spiritual hunger all along till he merges with the infinite. That is the significance of samudbhavam. If you don't have that kind of hunger, you will find it difficult to get inspired by the rest of the verse. He is building that hunger and then he is giving this. So, for such a deeply hungry spiritual soul, what is he saying? Brahma originates from the imperishable Akshara. So, I have already given you the meaning of imperishable. We will just cover that in a little more detail with respect to Brahma of the first line. Then it becomes very simple. So, what was the first dimension of Brahma? That concept or principle which you have about the infinite, whatever you have captured with your limited equipments as God. So, in that context, what is Akshara? Akshara literally means imperishable, that which cannot be, that which cannot decay or cannot be destroyed. But we will have to see in the context. So, when we say Brahma is your conception of God, then Akshara becomes that which is beyond what you have conceived. So, if you have taken a spoon and taken one spoon of water from the ocean, that is also representing the ocean only. But the ocean is there beyond whatever little bit of water which you have taken. That is the Akshara. He is now expanding your consciousness. He is telling you the vastness of what the infinite is. He will further be going in the third line, he will increase the vastness further. I am only touching upon this here. In the 15th chapter, he'll be expanding on this more and more. So number one, Akshara means that which is beyond what you have conceived as God, as divine. See, the moment you understand that, that gives you a lot of humility. Yes, I feel I have this experience, but I also know that this is not the ultimate experience. There is something more than what I'm experiencing. That will give you a lot of humility, and it will help you to use that Udbhavam Samudbhavam principle to keep on moving forward in your spiritual path. Then, number two, we saw the other dimension. Brahma means the Vedas, the Shabda Brahman. Now, from where does the Shabda come? Shabda means we can say sound, the word, the sound which the word produces. But how is a word formed? It is through letters, the syllables. Now what is interesting is, the very word Akshara has a meaning which is letter or alphabet. A syllable, Akshara means a syllable. That is, syllable means a unit of the spoken sound. For example, I am saying spoken. It produces a sound. Spoken. What are the units? S, P, O, K, E, N. These are all the aksharas. This is in English language. Same thing in any language. So in the Sanskritam language, even when you say Om, we are producing a sound. But there are three aksharas used there, A, U and Im. When all three join, then it becomes a Shabda Brahman, which is Om. So every word which is spoken has a sound, but what is behind that are the aksharas, which are units of the spoken sound, the alphabets. See how beautifully he has taken this word Akshara. So on one hand you have the sound produced by the word, on the other hand the Akshara, the alphabets. That is what he is referring to here when he says Akshara, imperishable. So Brahma, that is Shabda Brahman, is originating from Akshara, the units. See how perfectly it fits in. See, the very choice of the word Akshara itself is indicating this. Yet people miss it. That is what is interesting. Once it is told to you, for you it will be obvious. Because with an open mind you are gaining this wisdom, But otherwise, it's very interesting. It's not obvious for, I would say, majority of the people. So one is to connect your actions to the Shabda Brahman, but then he says go further, connect it to the Akshara. In the first dimension, you connect action to your concept of divinity, and then he says expand it, it's existing way beyond what you have conceived. Similarly, the sound, the words, the sound, all that is originating from the root units. Just as you have the physical body. What is a unit of the physical body? It is the cell. All the cells put together, they have made this physical body. So, Brahman is like the physical body. Akshara is like the cells, the unit of whatever was manifest. So you are going more deeper. You're going more deep. That will take you really deep into meditation. If you meditate on the Shabda Brahman, that itself is a very high level. If you're able to access that. But if you go more deep and gain access to the Akshara aspect, now you have advanced very deep in spirituality. All these secrets are embedded in that Yoga Sankirtan material which is given to you. When you keep on doing the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, I will teach you more and more secrets during the empowerments, in the future. Both the 22-day which we are having and the Yoga Sankirtan empowerment. See, every year the Yoga Sankirtan empowerments also, I keep increasing the energy and teaching you various subtler aspects. I have told you, there are 12 levels in the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. Only the first level has been revealed to you till now. So as we go further and further, it is an infinite science. To move from action to Brahma, that itself is a tremendous achievement. You will become a yogi. But if you move from Brahma to Akshara, you will become a Mahayogi. And then he is going to take you further. See, these are very subtle truths. This will not appeal to everyone. The common masses just want some entertainment, some dancing and music and all that, or some jokes, and that's it. This kind of depth is very, I would consider it as amazing even if one person is able to attune to what is being given here. That is why the Upanishadic masters never wanted to teach. Teaching was a byproduct. No true master wants to teach. Teaching is a byproduct of what he knows. People come and seek and he starts giving. That's all. He only shares his experience in the best possible way. But he can never share what he has experienced fully. But he can take you along and make you also experience that. So, Brahma means Shabda Brahman, from where we derived the Vedas. But Akshara means the unit of spoken sound, the syllables, the alphabets. If you take word means this is alphabet. If you take sound means the syllable. You can either see it as an alphabet or a sound. You can see it as a word or a sound. Both ways, if you see it as a word, then Akshara represents the alphabet. If you see it as a sound, then Akshara represents the syllable, the unit of the spoken sound. So even if you take Om, supposing you take it as a word, you write it like this, in that way. Now, if you take it as a word, what are the alphabets? A, U, M. So you can write that. These three only are for joining to form that. No, sir. I'm not bothered about the alphabets and all that. I can just close my eyes. I feel the sound. Oh, those vibrations. Very good. Then what are the units of that sound? A, U, M. A, U, M. Together. So when you start experiencing the same sound from the root level, then you move to the Akshara. See, this is a very deep yogic practice. Right now I am explaining it to the best of my ability, but words fall short. In the higher empowerments, I will be teaching you all this. The full yogic science, we'll see. So that is Akshara. Then we will take up the next dimension. What did we see? Kshara, perishable aspect. That which perishes. So Brahman has two aspects. Kshara Brahman, Akshara Brahman. Kshara Brahman is that aspect of Brahman which keeps on changing, which is limited, finite. The Akshara Brahman is that which never changes, which can never decay, which never dies or which can never be destroyed. That is Akshara Brahman, imperishable. So you have a mud pot. The form of the pot, the size of the pot, all these things are one aspect. But it also has the mud, which is the other aspect. So the form, the shape, the size, everything can change. That is the Kshara aspect. But the mud can never change with respect to the pot. That is the Akshara aspect of the mud, of the pot. You take an ornament, gold ornament. Supposing you take a bangle. Now it has a round shape. We call it a bangle. All these, the name, the form, the shape, all these are the Kshara aspect. The gold is the Akshara aspect. So you take the individual, you take yourself. The physical body is there. This keeps on changing. What was your physical body 10 years back, 20 years back? When you were born, how was your physical body? Now, how is your physical body now? You take a photograph and see. You may see some similarities, but completely changed. Sometimes, you wonder, okay, is this my photograph only? When I was just born, I was looking like this, is it? You go further deep. If you go inside the mother's womb and see, how was my body when I was a fetus in the embryo? As an embryo in the mother's womb. No, there will be no connection between what you are right now and how you were as an embryo there. So the body is changing. But this is the Kshara aspect. But there is a changeless principle beyond this body. That is the Akshara aspect of Brahman. So this body is also a part of God only. We are not discarding this. But what they are saying is go beyond this. This is the Kshara aspect. You have to first go to the Akshara aspect. That which supports the body. Same thing with respect to the mind also. What was your mind 10 years back? What was your mind when you were young? You may have said, I want to become many children they say, no, I want to become a hunter. I want to join the circus. I want to do this, that and all they say. But do they actually become all that? As they grow up, their minds change, no? So the emotions, everything changes. The thoughts also change. So your mind keeps on changing. The mind goes through a tremendous flux of changes. But what is behind that mind, the Akshara, the changeless principle? Similarly, your thoughts, your pranas, everything keeps changing. And if you look at it from a higher standpoint, you go through various births, birth after birth. You're changing your form, you're changing your style, you're changing your mind, you're changing your thoughts, going through various experiences. But you have that imperishable aspect, the soul aspect within you, which is changeless with respect to these different births. In this birth, you have this particular form and name. In your previous birth, you had a different form, different name. In the next birth, you will have some other name, some other form. Today you are not aware of all that. You are completely caught up with what's happening right now. But when you do the sadhana, a stage would come where in front of you, you will be able to see all the births which you have taken. It happened to Buddha, it happened to Mahavira, it happened to all the great masters, the yogis, siddhas. In the next chapter, 4th chapter, Krishna will be saying this to Arjuna. Ilya Arjuna, you've gone through many, many births, and today you're standing there in front of me. You know them not, but I know it. I am able to see that, he says. It's a higher vision. From a higher standpoint, Krishna gives out this wisdom. Millions and millions of births you've gone through. The Kshara aspect. Every time you're born, you will have to die. Dying doesn't mean you will cease to exist. It only means you have dropped these equipments. And then again you assume some other equipments. Why? Till the karmas are resolved, this process will keep on continuing. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam, said Adi Shankara. Repeated birth, repeated death, repeatedly lying in the mother's womb. This is the Kshara aspect. So beyond this physical body, beyond the pranas, beyond the emotions, beyond the thoughts, beyond this birth, beyond this death, what you are calling as death, lies that supreme reality, Akshara Brahman. In every Nididhyasana meditation, this is what is told to you, no? When you are taken into deep meditation, I am not this body, I am not this pranas, I am not this mind, I am not these thoughts. I am that supreme reality. It is the Akshara Brahman. So from Kshara, you will have to move to the Akshara. First from action to the Kshara aspect, then Kshara aspect to Akshara Brahman. This is very powerful. See, just listening to this itself will make you so meditative, which you are already now, you are slipping into meditation. Okay, so we will stop there. See, now that the Kshara aspect has been thoroughly explained to you, that is Brahma, it is very easy to cover this Akshara aspect. So we can cover that and move further. The whole verse can be easily understood, we can get into the flow of the verse if you set that first line properly. Action springs from Brahma. If that is understood in depth, then the rest of the verse just goes as a flow. Very easy to glide through the rest of the verse. Of course, I am saying easy in terms of understanding inspiration, but when it comes to meditation, Lord of sadhana, to connect the action to Brahma, tremendous sadhana has to be done. Then to connect Brahma to Akshara, very subtle yogic sadhanas have to be done, which can be revealed only when the student is prepared for that. Otherwise, one will not be able to take that much energy. A lot of purification is required. In the Divya, Sambandha Divya Vignan, that purification, so much of purification happened, no? It's a very special course. So like this, more and more preparation is required to be able to handle this kind of energy. A yogi is in constant communion with Brahman in totality. Akshara Brahman, Akshara Brahman, and then that which is beyond Akshara, what he calls as Sarvagatam Brahma, the all-pervading Brahma. Okay, so before we go to the Nididhyasana, I will take up one question. See, very difficult to talk. That is, as the level increases, it naturally makes you silent. I think you are able to experience that, no? That is the power of this wisdom, you know. I am referring to a couple of questions here and some more questions also which people have sent, some experiences and all that, where Shweta has written here, my daughter Sakshi happened to watch some of the session and partook in the meditation. She wanted to ask this question, that is, she wants to ask me, Hari Om. Oh, she has learnt Hari Om. Every time we keep saying that, very nice. How did you become so divine? And my 6-year-old son says he has a funny question. How do our wishes come true? See, it is fun, Shweta, this is funny for you, but for him it is a very serious question only. Similarly, Amrita has asked this question. So there is a question from my 7-year-old son Arush. Dear Yogishri, please answer my question. I want my friends to live, but after that, when death comes, I will lose them all, especially my best friends. How can we stop this from happening? See, these little ones, they are asking such deep questions. Very difficult to explain, you know, but they are so sincere. So what she has asked is, some conversation seems to have triggered this question in him, and over the last month or so he has been asking about death constantly. He says he gets a sad feeling that seems to control him. He is alright once he listens to Nirvana Shatkam, and the intensity of this is reduced even though it does come back. When this happens, he keeps on asking questions about death. As a mother, is there anything I can do about this? Kindly provide me with an answer to this. See, I will give the answers, all this in a generalized way, how to handle this. Also, some others have mentioned about their little ones reacting to this discourse and the Yoga Sankirtan sadhanas very well. Like one mother, she has a 3-year-old kid and another little one. The little one is, I think, 1.5 years old or something. Now, both of them are so much attuned to these discourses. When she watches the discourse, they also come and sit and simply keep watching. Recently, someone has sent a mail saying that, this 6 months or 7 months old baby which her daughter has, She was brought in when she was watching the lectures. As soon as that baby came, that boy, just 6, 7 months old, he bowed down. He kept on bowing down. How do you explain this logically? It is a past birth connection. So what I can tell you all, parents, is that first of all, these kids are not ordinary kids. They are very advanced souls who've been reborn. And they are being exposed to the yogic approach right from young age. See, all of you who have said this, you all done the sadhana, Yoga Sankirtan sadhana when you were carrying. That shows how much of depth they must be having to receive these divine vibrations. So they receive this energy so well. When they ask these questions, even to me, they are being very genuine. Like that 3-year-old girl, one day she got cut in her one toe, and it was bleeding. I happened to be there that time, so she was brought to me, and she immediately, I just picked her up and gave her a nice hug and said, she asked me, Yogishri, can you give healing? What that child understands as healing is interesting. She understands in her own way. I said, definitely I'll give you healing. So I just kept the hand on top of her, the toe, and chanted Om a few times, and they had applied some medicine and all that. The amazing thing is, after about half an hour, 45 minutes, she came running, that girl, and she showed me. She said, Yogishri, thank you so much. I said, suddenly why are you coming in? See, my wound has become okay. And to all of our surprise, we found that cut, everything had gone off. It had become like normal skin, just in 45 minutes. That is the power of the faith of these children, And that girl, when her sister, that 1.5-year-old girl, whenever she is unwell or something, I believe she gives her advice. Hey, don't worry, Yogishri will give healing. This is what is so inspiring. How birth after birth, you continue this sadhana, you continue this wisdom. That is the amazing thing. So when these kids, when they grow up, they will ask such deep questions. So I am directly giving the answer to that boy who is asking about death. You may not understand the process of death fully now, beta. You just have to be a little patient. As you grow up, you can gain the whole wisdom. But one thing you understand, that death is not the end. It is not that your friends will go away. All of you will be reborn. See, you've been reborn, and that's how you're listening to this. So they don't actually disappear. You all, again, you will be born as friends if those karmic bonds are there. So there is nothing to fear there. So as similarly the other girl is, how have you become divine? All of you are divine, even you're divine. That little one is asking me, how I have become divine. My answer to that girl is, you're also divine, probably more divine. So as you grow up, you keep doing the sadhana so that the divinity will keep on manifesting. That boy is asking, how all my wishes can come true. Wait patiently. As you grow up, all the secrets can be taught to you. So as mothers, as fathers, don't give complicated answers to your children. Now, just because the boy has asked, what is death? No, don't give the entire law of karma. No, don't do that. Address that issue. See, that fear is there. So don't worry, death doesn't mean the end of everything. Because children will ask, next question he will ask is, Mom, in my next birth, will you be my mother? He will ask such questions. That time don't say, I don't know, depend on. Say yes. If you have that strong bonding, I'll again be your mother. That will comfort the child. And as the boy or girl grows up, you don't need to tell them. They will pick up the spiritual wisdom. And you're putting them on the right path. You're exposing them to this. So very interesting. Those who were like this now have become teenagers. They are all sending mails, and and those who are babies have become now children, and fresh babies are also being added because the mothers are doing such good sadhana that a fresh set of next generation sadhaks are being created. This is what inspires me also to create more materials, because the Shakti materials, all that which we'll be creating now, when they all grow up, they will have all that in hand. Just imagine. Okay, so talk the language of the kids to the kids. Don't talk very, in a complicated way. Simplify things. If you don't know, you can say, I don't know. As you grow up, you can ask Yogishri directly. You can understand the lectures. So you be frank about it. But main thing is, if you find any negative emotion coming because of the question, like the death, handle that. Say things to remove that negative emotion. Okay, so now we'll have Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this physical body. I am not these pranas. I am not these emotions. I am not these thoughts. I am that supreme infinite reality. Akshara Brahma. From this moment onwards, I choose to be an eternal sadhak, always using my energies to go deeper and deeper till I merge with infinite. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. We had a very powerful and deep session today. This inner science is an infinite science. The more you know, the more is there to know. That is the very nature of the infinite. So in the next session, we'll go further into this. It's interesting. He starts off with action and then he ends with yajna. In between, he goes into so much of depth. Okay. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next session. Hari Om.